guest from out west, Vancouver way. Introduce yourself, my friend, and let us know a little bit about yourself as you're letting us know who you are.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Danny Echo here from Vancouver, Canada, on a beautiful spring day. First real good spring day out in Vancouver here. And I play rock and roll in a few bands, one of them called Danny Echo, surprisingly. And I work in film, and I blow stuff up, and I make film magic. So
Blow stuff
I try
up.
to I try to incorporate that in my live shows, but it gets pretty sticky with the permits.
Right, right.
So right.
I can imagine. All right. Well, let's talk about the last thing you blew up.
Yeah, great question.
Well, you know what? To be honest, it's kind of anticlimactic there. It was actually just a spark on a letter that was on a sign. But that's the range of pyro that I do. It's like you do small little sparks to make look like things are blowing up, like electrical fires and stuff. And then you can blow up a whole train car and stuff like that. But I honestly, the last thing I did was probably a car. Well, I mean, I didn't personally do it all. We have a team of effects technicians, and it takes weeks to prep a car, and you load it with mortars, and you fill bags with gasoline and diesel, and you push a button, and it all goes off. But that was probably probably about a year or two now since I've done anything like that. It's always been a lot of small things, a lot of sparks and that sort of thing, and lots of smoke. And actually, the last show I worked on, it was a rain show, and it's Vancouver. You think, well, why does that matter, right? But we actually have to make the rain. Like it's the way we do it. You have to have the raindrops rather big so the camera picks them up, and you also have to be able to turn it off, and or turn it on when there's no rain in real life. So
it's like very specialized. Like
rain.
That sounds weird to say. Sorry to interrupt, but like to get the rain on film, it's not like you just wait for a rainy day, especially in Vancouver. Like it's actually built. Engineered rain.
Engineered rain. That's a great line. I should write that down.
That's
exactly what it is. Because you're not just waiting for the rain. You're waiting for schedules of locations and actors and directors and all sorts of things. So we roll up a couple tanker trucks and pipe it up to about a 40-foot long pipe that's hanging above the set with basically fire sprinklers on it. And we turn the pump on, and it rains.
Wow, that's
and then
cool,
it gets really fun when it's cold out, and the actors want heated rain. So there's two water trucks.
Heated rain.
It costs a lot of money, but we've done it. Yeah, it's
wow.
It's 2 water trucks, and then basically a steam boiler. And we run it through, and then we pump it up, and it looks amazing because it's a steam comes out of the top of these things and falls down, and it's pretty wild. It's very surreal in the winter to do that.
No doubt, right?
It costs a lot of money, but if that's what they want, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we were touched base there earlier especially with the film crew and stuff. You said you've been working with Netflix and all this.
Well, yeah, in Vancouver, it's so busy. I mean, everybody in our union is working. It's crazy. And it's Netflix, you have Disney, you have Apple TV, and you have Warner Brothers shows that are just, going full on. And I've been basically working with Netflix, probably for the last 5 years. Every show I've done has been a Netflix show. So yeah, it pays well.
What Netflix shows have you done? What shows have you worked on?
There was a thing called The Order, that was a few years ago. It was a sci-fi. Lots of sci-fi stuff gets filmed out here.
I watched a lot of your sci-fi stuff then. The Order, I've already seen that as well, right?
I did that. Did all the effects on that, like all the physical effects, right? And then did the first season of. Did you ever see Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective? Yeah.
That's my favorite show. Dude. Oh my God, that was my favorite show. Sorry, I don't mean
that was
a fangirl.
That was an I did the first season of that, and then they had another crew for the second season. But yeah, that was a really for me. And I got to say, like I'm a huge Douglas Adams fan.
Me
And when I got asked, hey, do you want to do this Dirt Gently thing? I'm like, Dirt Gently? Yes. I don't care what it is. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So oh my God, this is the best show ever for me now. Sorry.
I wish I had swag lying around. They always give us T-shirts and stuff. Awesome. Yeah, but it was. I got to tell you though, with the whole time travel thing that they introduced in that, it got so confusing on set. We literally had to stop, and they had to read the scripts, and they were asking people, "What did we do now? Because what did you do last week when we filmed the other part of the scene?" And it just got to a grinding halt, and everyone's like, "We don't know what we're doing," because there was these 20-minute time jumps, and they filmed them the week before. Right. It had to make sense with this week. Oh, it was nuts.
And the universe and how the universe all ties together. And
the story was good, and working with what's his nuts? I can't remember the name. Elijah. He was really, really cool. Really super chill guy, and the British guy was so funny. Even just off camera, he was super personal and funny.
I can't even remember his actual name.
Yeah, I can't. He's pretty well known. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
My favorite show. I love that. I don't watch. My TV is not plugged in. It's collecting dust. I could write my name in it.
Yeah.
Seriously, like I don't have time. Right? I've seen lots of shows and stuff like that. But this guy I did once, he was like, we have to sit down. You have to watch this show. And I watched the entire show in less than a week, and it was my life. It was like watching my life. It was so
you watched both seasons? Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, the second season's pretty good, too.
Oh,
bizarre, but...
Absolutely. But like... It's weird because you're like, what am I watching? It's kind of like a train wreck. You're like, what am I watching? I can't look away. What am I? Something's going to happen. I don't want to see it. But I'm sorry. I totally am sorry for fangirling like that for a moment. But like, that's
fine.
That's the only TV show that I watch.
We got some shout outs to give real quick. We got Sarah. Rose is watching. Kevin's watching, right? Rachel, good friend of mine. He's watching.
Yeah.
Jackie's watching. Hello. Jackie Hill. Yeah.
So so sorry to like just completely cut you off on that, but what like now it matters, but like what else have you worked on?
Well, I mean, I
want to hear more about Dirk.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a little thing. I don't know if you ever noticed on the Dirt Gently shows, there's always a lot of little Easter eggs all over the place. Like the artwork always has something to do with either Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something that Douglas Adams did. There's like there's posters and stuff, and there's all these things that are just background, but they're actually like little nods to hitchhikers and stuff. It's really, really cool. And I only noticed it because I'm standing on set looking at these things going, hey, that's the whale and the potted plants. Hey, that's cool. I know what that is. But I mean, if you don't catch it in the show, you have to rewatch it. But
well, I do now.
Now you're gonna rewatch it.
Yeah. Well, that would be one I'll watch.
So for me and Ryder to do next weekend.
Yeah.
So.
But other shows. I mean, we're all sort of it's one big sort of kind of big family in the film community here in Vancouver. You always end up, when I'm not coordinating a show, I'll have weeks off between shows, and I'll just go day call, and I always end up on The Flash. I worked on Supergirl and stuff, and I mean I worked for years on Smallville, if you remember that show, one of my first shows I ever worked on. So that honed my skills on that show. But
wow.
This last show I worked on, I think I can say what it is. It's called Lost Ollie, and all I'm going to tell you it's about a little plush toy that's got to find his childhood friend who's, a kid. And it's this whole adventure, and it rains a lot, like I said, and it was pretty interesting. Everything was, we had to get used to filming everything like really small because it's these little characters. So I'm designing these great big shots, and we only need about this much of the set because it's just a little rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that makes it cheaper. But that was fun. And then I do a sleeper show called Virgin River, which is total romance novel. Like there's hardly any special effects, but it's perfect. It's a couple of months of kind of just sitting back and just tending and doing a couple things and making sure everything works properly. But it's a good show to have between the crazy busy shows where you work. You know, I think last Thursday I worked 18 hours officially, but I was up for 24.
No, of course.
Wow.
That's more than me, man. So I can definitely honor that. Like, we crushed the hours, just crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that's an honor. Like, obviously, I know the scheduling and stuff, especially in film. You're up at 4:30 in the morning. Now you got makeup, you got this, you got to get that ready, you got to test this. Like, you guys are grueling out there, man. Like, I wouldn't want to.
It's nuts. Well, the big shows like the Warner Brothers shows, they're 10-month runs, and they just grind their crew down. At the end of it, I go check. I go say hi to the guys, and they're like just falling asleep. They're so burnt out.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to just keep to the 4-month shows, and even that it's getting to be too much.
Yeah, no doubt. I hear you.
But yeah,
I've recently just gone to not part time, but I've taken. I don't work 7 days a week anymore. I'm taking 3 days off. I work 4, but I grind more hours. Other than you,
65 or so.
I grind a lot of hours, right? Like,
that just proves that you're kind of, committed and kind of interested in what you do for a living. And I wouldn't do that if I was not interested and the money wasn't good or anything like that. You have to drive.
Exactly, right? Like, the money's good there, and then on my off time, I'm grinding it here, and my payoff is here. Is all the amazing people we get to meet and all the music we get to bring new people. Like, so.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible job.
It's kind of what I've been doing too. Like the film, you do so much film, and then I'll have a few weeks off, and I'll just power down on recording or writing new songs and doing the PR social media thing.
Right.
And you can have, there's no stop to it really. It's just full on.
No, it never stops.
Gotta go to sleep.
The world never stops, man. Yeah. Even while I'm sleeping, she's working, and I wake up to a list of fucking shit she's done at night. And then, the night she's passed out, I'm working, and I send her a huge list of stuff. Hey, we need dates for that. We need these people, those people.
His list is usually bigger than mine.
I don't sleep much, so I might as well do something.
No, neither of us do. But I mean, I guess that's an opportunity to. Oh, I'm out of camera. I guess that gives us an opportunity to fully identify with you on what it is to work at what you love and love doing the work that you do.
Yeah.
When TJ and I met, which, he was like, well, I don't sleep and nothing gets in my way. And I was like, perfect. He was like, you want to work with me? And I was like, sure, but I don't sleep and nothing gets in my way. Okay, fine. That's perfect. So like, we're just going to work away and see what happens. And here we are. And it's about loving what you do, and you sound very passionate about what you do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think being creative, I mean, I know a lot of people are creative. You guys are pretty creative. I could not even think about doing anything not creative. I mean, I have to when it's tax season, but
of course. That's the
but even then there's creativity in numbers.
True, there is. You gotta how do I write this off?
Right. How do I make that pizza look like something I needed during work?
Yeah, exactly.
It was the prop for the show.
Yeah, that's entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I know. I write off all my pizzas.
So
I don't.
Honestly, you get you might be 10, 11 weeks in between your projects with Hollywood and Netflix and Warner Brothers and all these amazing other companies. When you writing your music, like, is it like that's when you do it? Like, because
it's funny when you're really busy. And especially if you're super active, like, I jog and I work out, but then if I'm active at work, I always come up with song ideas, and I never have a pen or my phone's dead or something ridiculous like that. But it's always when I'm really busy doing work, my mind's going. So if I have a brain fart, then I quickly have to write it down. I always have guitars all over my place, around my house here. So I always have something. And obviously with with my phone, if it's not dead, then you can record something on it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually when I write the initial sort of. I'm just reading the comments here.
I know, I see that too. I was like, oh, did he see that?
My friend Matt. I went to high school with Matt. That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. So I mean, you write the ideas. I do write with other people as well. I do have a few other projects that I collaborate with. My longtime collaborator Mark Christopher, him and I have been in bands since we were probably mid-20s, I guess. So we'll have ideas, or we'll just work on each other's ideas. But as long as you got the spark, and I try to get as much done as possible, and then we get in with the band in our rehearsal hall or jam spot there, and then we try to flesh it out. But obviously with COVID, I've been writing and completing. I guess in a way, it's not laziness to just have an idea and then jam it with the band, but I realize, hey, I can actually do this whole thing. I don't need. I mean, it's good to have band input, and I probably will have band input on a lot of these finished songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, in COVID, I sat down and I wrote a bunch of songs and really learned how to use the recording, digital audio workstations over the last couple months here, and learn how to make a really, really good demo. I might even release some of those in the future. I'm working on a couple right now that are starting to sound really good. But yeah, like basically I've tried to finish songs to completion as much as possible.
That's where I've kind of noticed, especially with my playing. Now I don't have people to work off because I'll write. I more or less just write a main riff, throw in a little lick, but I did to collaborate a lot of other people. Like, you take this song, I'll send this song to that person or this band and stuff, right? And then get it all back. So now I can't jam with nobody, and I personally don't have a way to record it unless it's just my phone fucking recording me. But that's not the same as sending a finished product to somebody, right? And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean luckily I have been working, but we haven't been jamming as much. So I've had some money coming in, and I actually went and bought a really, really decent vocal mic and got that set up. So I have people sending me a couple of tracks and stuff, and like, hey, what about vocals for this? So I'll do a really good vocal take and try to comp it all and make it work. And kind of that's how you got to do it. Then I send it back and someone else puts guitars on it or whatever, if they have a little studio in their place. But we have been jamming. It's been, weeks apart and stuff, and we all wear a mask and stuff like that. And it's only been like myself, the drummer, and the bass player that really wanted to do it. With film, actually, just background on all of that. Like with film, we're getting tested once a week, not the full-on brain tickler, but the little swab. So we're getting tested, and we check in every day. I know a lot of other, a lot of other people are doing that, but it's so in my mind, I was feeling confident. Yeah, I'm fine. I get tested every week, and if something came up, something came up. So a lot of us were just like, okay, well, let's jam. Let's just jam. So I've been jamming with a couple other film people. It's been funny. Like, this pandemic's been pretty odd. I've actually started 2 new bands just cause, and it was sort of just conversations on the phone or old friends and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, I get tested all the time and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, let's jam. So I was about a bottle and a half in on some red wine one night, listening to some Alice in Chains, going, oh, I miss these guys a lot. I'm like, I know, let's start a Alice in Chains tribute band. So I put it up on Facebook, and a coworker of mine, he's actually in the camera department. He's like, he phoned me up the next day and said, hey, I'm your guy. I'm like, for what? For the Alice in Chains thing. The Alice in Chains thing. I'm like, oh, right, that. I vaguely remember doing that. So he's actually a brilliant guitarist. Sasha, I forget his last name. Sorry. He's actually in a pretty good, I can't remember what his band is. Pretty heavy, like screamy, heavy band. And
you'll have to send them our way, bud.
I will. You know what? I will, because he's actually they're from Chicago, and he lives out here, and he got hired to be their lead singer. Oh, I forget what they're called. I should have written this down. Anyways,
that's all right.
So
he shows up later.
He actually he phoned me. I was like, I look like Jerry Cantrell, and I can play all the parts and sing all the parts. I'm like, sweet, let's do it. And he said, and my bass player is a really big fan of Alice in Chains, so let's get him out. So we haven't found a drummer yet. We've just been jamming us 3, doing like the first couple albums. and I mean, I don't look like Lane Staley at all, but I can sing like him. So
yeah,
it's actually turning out really, really well. It's really, really cool. Yeah, we just got to find that drummer that, that has a little splash cymbal.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, maybe tonight, any drummers that are watching tonight might have a little spot in analysis and change the bit for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit me up, man. We're looking for. There's a couple people interested, but they haven't, haven't been able to jam.
Yet, right?
It's still, and there's no gigs happening in Vancouver anyways. So.
No, we're the same in Ontario. It's right now everything's shut down. It's like.
Depressing.
They're teasing us with, hey, it's nice out. Maybe we'll ease restrictions, but we're in Ontario, so let's face it.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it's like I think Vancouver, BC's not doing too bad, but they're like, no, we're not doing anything, and everybody's like, okay, we can still all go outside and hang out. I think we're allowed to hang out in groups of 10. I think
that's what we have here.
You too? Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. So I guess there's hope, right? So I'm with the vaccine and all that stuff. So
I mean, we just I don't know. I'm not a fan of talking about the negativity of it. I know that it's hindered a lot of people. Myself and TJ, like from the time that we got together as well as before that, I know that both of us have been very successful throughout all of it. We've managed to stay afloat and stuff like that. So like for you, and musically, because I also want to get into like projects that you've done and bands you've played with and stuff like that. But just at this time right now, or film wise, musically mostly though, has this lockdown situation helped you in what you're doing?
It's actually because before. Like I love playing live. I love playing live shows, and I love recording and writing music. But before, it seemed like every couple of weeks I was booking a gig somewhere just to play, either with Danny Echo or I play guitar with this band called The Walk-Ins. It's basically the same rhythm section. It's just with a different lead singer, and I get to wank away on a bunch of pedals. It's great.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. But we're doing gigs and we're constantly playing because we love it so much. This put an end to it. And it was kind of a relief because I wasn't stressing about promoting it. I wasn't stressing about postering and getting it out on social media and hopefully, and then just getting the gear to the show and then, wrapping at 3 a.m. and getting home and, all that stuff. So it was actually kind of nice. It made me really reflect back on what I need to do because I need to get some merch done and I need to get some of the recordings finished and need to get some of the other, social media things finished. So it really made me kind of sit back and realize what I need to do now that I was kind of ignoring. I managed to make this record though.
What? That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's actually
can you put it up just a little bit closer to the camera, please?
There you go.
Does that work?
That works perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So what it is, here, check this out. Oops. I lost you guys there. There you go.
Yeah.
I made a red vinyl of it too.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
I collect vinyl.
You gotta send me.
I'll send you guys some. Yeah, I'll send you guys some.
Or send Amanda the link on where we can purchase. That's for sale.
That's kind of on my list of things to do. I got to figure out how to do
that. We'll talk after, and we'll figure out how we can get your merch from you to us. And I certainly, if you have anything kicking around from Dirk Gently, like a piece of a T-shirt, I don't care what it is, a coaster from the show. I don't care. Like
ended up
the room that I have, the podcasting room that I have here has all kinds of different things that I've gotten from pre-guests that we have. Like
cool.
I got a printout from another podcaster's show, and then I have a poster from Fresh Kills Con, and I have a poster from Snake River Redemption, and a magazine from Kids in the Hall. Like I just have all kinds of weird shit all over my house, right? So that's awesome, why when we have guests that this is, to be fair, the first time I fangirled, and we had Johnny No Cash on the show last week. So, it would be really neat to have
I have two interjections.
What are you going to say, TJ?
Your fangirl was not Johnny No Cash. You did very excellent in that interview. Your fan thing was Ryder from Razor. You didn't say a word the whole interview. And second point, we stole two things off of Ass Pocket Podcast, man. We had
we got their co-host.
He thought we were professional, so he showed up with a list of like today's news we could talk about. Like he had it all broke down on, you know, like all. We're like, that's so funny because we don't run like that, right? So we stole. He left the paper.
We didn't steal it from him. He left it here.
No, he left the paper there. So she framed it up, and now it hangs on the wall in the background.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a reminder, right?
Yeah.
And then he printed out a picture of his co-host and had a little cardboard cutout of his co-host. Well, him and I got excited. It was the first time we were on the show together. We had a few drinks. He forgot that as well. So we hijacked that piece of merch as well.
That's great. Yeah. I'll definitely send you guys the vinyl for sure.
I would be grateful. That's amazing.
Yeah. And, you know, I got to say, so when I got it made out in Burnaby, I got it made from Clampdown Records out here. And they gave me the box and said, hey, just so you know, the previous pressing had a white record that we were pressing. And so a little bit of the white, plastic was still left in it. So some of them might have some white squiggles in it. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah.
Oh.
So they're all shot. I don't know where they are, if they might be gone already. So who knows? Because I actually saw one and actually gave it to a friend, but it looks great. It has like the red and the white. I was like, oh, why didn't I think of that when I made it?
Do them all like that. Right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's
awesome. Kind of cool.
The only thing I would personally request is maybe a little signature.
Yeah, sure. I'll sign it. Yeah. I'll see if I have any film things that they give us so many things, pens and USB things and stuff, and they just start like most of the time it's T-shirts and a jacket, especially on the bigger shows. But I try to give that to my niece and nephew, but I'm not big enough yet. But what were we talking about?
Well, actually, what I was actually about to ask next, like leading into what we were talking about was the projects that you have worked on or that are working on, bands that you've worked in, and that.
Yeah. So I guess I mentioned the Alice in Chains. That's just a vanity project, really. But it's it's something to do when things come back. I know we can get a show, and it's just like it'll be fun. Obviously, my main project is Danny Echo. Doing that for a while, and like working on songs. I'm mixing our latest song called Zeros and Ones, which I've had a lot of fun learning how to do all this stuff. And
like code.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually that's another thing I learned in the pandemic lockdown for a few months there. I actually have a friend from a local pub, and he's a programmer and everything. And I'm like, hey, how do you write code? What, like binary? And over it was Messenger on Facebook, I actually learned how to write code. I kind of forget it. I get it now, but I don't know all the numbers and what they each stand for. But I learned how to spell my name in zeros and ones, and I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. It's not that complicated, surprisingly enough. It actually makes a lot of sense, which is probably why computers are so awesome.
Cool.
So I learned that, and I did end up finishing a video for Atmosphere Remix, which is the B-side, I think, on this. And so what we ended up doing, when I did the first video for Atmosphere, and you can check it out on YouTube, just look up Danny Echo. And the guy that was doing it for me, Tyro James, he's a hip-hop artist, which you should probably get a hold of as well, because he's awesome. He's yeah, it's like super catchy. He actually wrote a song called Catchy Chorus. I'm like, that's the catchy chorus. He's like, I know, that's what I wrote.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's really catchy hip hop and really funny and really he's great. Anyways, he does music videos. Got a hold of him. He was doing a music video for a friend of mine, their band called the Shit Talkers, which I should send your way as well. Yeah, they're great. great all-female punk band. They're awesome.
Oh,
yeah,
punk's right up my alley. My friend, I've been waiting to say this. Mad.
Yeah.
He's got the Matt Murdock shirt on.
That's right. Nice. I almost said Mulligans. Mad Murdock.
You're welcome, TJ. You're welcome, TJ.
They're pretty good punk, Yep. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Oh yeah, man. That's awesome.
So sorry. Continue on.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm around. So what we did? So he was doing music videos, and I said, why don't you do a music video for Atmosphere? This song about what's really going on behind the crap we're dealing with in life. And so in the process of that, I'm like, hey, we'll do the premiere for this, but why don't you come up and do a verse, like do a hip hop verse? And he's like, sure. So he came up and we did a couple live shows like that. And I said, we should just re-record this, simplify it down, give it a more 4/4, like it's the same song, but we took a lot of the guitars out, gave it a bit of a cleaner feel. And I got him to write a verse, and it sounds awesome. So I'm like, well, let's do another video. So I finished that video, which is also on YouTube, Danny Echo. And we actually finished it off. He edited it all, and it's great. It was kind of cool because in his part, he's doing this hip hop sort of at the camera, like the hip hop sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And I started doing it too. I'm like, yeah, I'm a hip hop artist too. This is great. Yeah. And it was actually really funky. It was a lot of fun, and I'm like, we should do more of these because it's a really interesting. It didn't feel cliche. It didn't feel like we're merging two genres or anything like that. It was really
flowed.
Cool. It did, yeah.
Right,
and the verse he wrote it was great. So I managed to do that, and been recording more demos with Danny Echo. Got like 3 or 4, and of course with that other band, the Walk-Ins, I managed to. I said, well, let's record these 4 new songs we're doing with you guys. So we managed to do that. And then we got one called Virtual Reality, which the singer wrote. And it was all about people, because when the pandemic first started, people were buying the virtual reality things, and getting into that. So he's like, oh, this is great. I'm going to write a song about it. I said, great, let's record it. So we put it out. We made a video. We all had our phones and just did our parts. And I edited it all together. So it's, a pandemic video, which there's a lot of them out there, but it was kind of fun doing it. I wear my gas mask for some part of it. I don't know where that is.
Sorry, my dog's knocking everything over.
It was a lot of fun. So doing that, and then just recently got together with Brooke and Nadia from the Shit Talkers, who are friends of mine, and we decided to start a band called the Swimming Hammers. It's a joke. It was a running joke, and
go on.
Yeah, the drummer and her friends have a joke. Oh, you want to kiss a swinging hammer? It's some kind of saying that was like their thing to go to.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I'm a woman, so I really like that.
You kind of understand it more than I do, for sure.
Oh yeah, when he said it, I was like, oh, my heart. I connect with these women. I do. I understand.
I think you'd really like him. But it's funny because Brooke misunderstood and said, what's a swimming hammer? I'm like, oh, that's a great name for a band. So we got together, and we're basically doing songs that don't fit Danny Echo or don't fit the Shit Talkers. They're kind of, we're trying to make them a little, like for my stuff, a little more, I was listening to a lot of Killing Joke a while back, and I wrote this Killing Joke style song and all these other songs. But we all play and we all sing, and we kind of all switch instruments as well. So it's still pretty new. Sick. And it's really cool. Like, cause I sing a song and then they do female backup-y things, and it's a really cool sound. And then Brooke has a couple songs, and I'd sing backup, and then Nadia has a couple songs. So it's still new, but it's a lot of fun, and it's just more, it's exciting for us all again, because we actually had a couple jam sessions with our masks on. I know there's a video out there somewhere, but there's no web page or Facebook page or nothing like that yet. So.
Yeah. Well, once you do get that up and running, let us know, and we'll,
please,
definitely your YouTube videos. I'll be pumping them out once in a while when I'm checking it out. Remember, I'll make sure I share that up on the page. Yeah,
that'd be great.
People can see that as well, right?
But I mean, actually, so speaking of bands, though, yesterday, Mark, who's the co-writer in Danny Echo, although we've kind of haven't done a lot lately, has a young family now, so he's super busy with that.
No doubt.
but him and I used to be in a band in Vancouver called the Rycatchers, and we were very not Oasis, but like Beatle influence and all the stuff. And we did some really good work. And the bass player was my cousin. He's basically my brother. And you figure how that ended, right? So
yeah,
a whole bunch of Stellas and disagreements. So anyways, so we actually had a little video conference yesterday, and we're like, well, you know what? We're like, time has passed and we're really proud of the stuff we did. And we're thinking of maybe doing like, redoing a couple of songs with us playing now and doing the stories behind them. Because unbeknownst to us, when we kind of called it quits, a lot of people came out of the woodwork and said, I love that band. We're like, who are you? Like, we actually had kind of a following, kind of unbeknownst to us, or maybe we're just naive about it all. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. There's lots of music happening in my world anyways. And, having, to any musicians out there, always have your guitar out. If you can have gear ready to go, any way to record it, always have it going. Because the last thing you want to do is you plug your stuff in when you're trying to get a song idea down, right?
Yeah. Already have it plugged in and ready to go. All I do is hit my power switch. I wait for my amp to warm up, and then I'm off and running, right? Or my acoustic, which always sits right there, right?
Yeah, yeah. You got to have acoustic lying around.
Yeah, we have all kinds of instruments around the house.
Just to get it in your brain, and then when you switch over to your electric, and you can hear it the way you wanted to hear it, you still remember, right? It's like, there it is, right?
Yeah, definitely. Just get it out of your head on paper. And
I have a few songs that I did write on the acoustic. It sounded all right, I was like, but it sounds better like this. And then for a few years, I jammed them on the electric all hard. And now I'm finding I'm taking those songs back to the acoustic.
Yeah.
And it sounds way better on the acoustic now that I've got it down. But I don't know. It's hard to say that transfer back. It almost makes it better in that sense.
That's called maturing, TJ. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I've been waiting for it all night. Fucking right?
I mean, that's the.
I've been good all day. Sorry.
That's the true hallmark of a decent song when you write it.
Yeah.
And you have a whole band do it, but you can also sit down with the acoustic and it still comes across. The melodies or whatever, the riffs and the playing is still there. If you can do that, then it's a good song, in my mind.
Yeah, sit by the campfire and jam out the songs. You know what I mean?
I can't wait to do that.
Right?
I've got a fire pit here now. I've got the plans for the outdoor studio where some nights I'll be able to broadcast when it's not windy and shit, like by the fire.
Great.
You know what I mean? And we're getting there.
That's cool. I live in an apartment, so I can't have a fire. Well, there is a community natural gas fire in the cul-de-sac there, but I mean, I miss that.
Yeah, me too. I'm in an apartment too.
Your hectic schedule being movies and music and all that, do you ever get time to just travel?
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously not lately, but I usually try to incorporate it with music. I mean, I've been to Japan about 3 times. One to actually play, which was a lot of fun. I just did an bunch of acoustic shows in Japan, and that was pretty mind blowing. It was pretty wild. Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, that was pretty wild. It was incredibly warm and hot. It was the first time I'd ever went. I went with a friend of mine, Katie Rocks, who used to be in a band called Jackalope, I believe.
I know that band, my friend.
I know
that band. Pretty cool right there.
She was the first singer there, and then she decided she wanted to do more of a little like a country thing. So she's like, let's go to Japan. I've been there with Jackalope, and I know all these people. I'm like, sweet, let's go. I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. She was so organized. She's actually started a band called Nice Horse. I think they're a bunch of people from a whole bunch of different bands that weren't really country are all playing in this band, and they're actually got some pretty. It's full on pro country, right? Like sound, right? They're doing pretty well, so it's pretty cool. They got some really catchy songs. not super my style, but it's pretty good stuff.
I'm in the same, like, just to give a little shout out to New Moon Junction, which are out of Erin, Ontario here.
Yeah.
I was told when we first started and met, the first thing when I hear an idea or a thing, I go with it instantly, right? So I heard we can't just do heavy metal and punk. We have to do all music. So next day I booked New Moon Junction, and it turns out they're actually a really big country band around here, man. Like they're doing very well for themselves. But I was like, I told them right away, we do metal and punk, but you know, do you guys want to come on or whatever? And,
oh, that's great. Yeah, actually,
they'll be on the end of next month, I believe. We'll have to double check with that, right?
Beginning of May. It's going to be the beginning of May.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, we do have a country-like song that we haven't recorded yet, but it's called "Lord Knows What the Devil's Going On," kind of combining the two phrases.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of a live favorite because it's got this little shuffle beat. It's a you know, like that sort of country.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a really neat song, and it's kind of the original lyrics are kind of more about this guy has a cheating wife and what's going on, and maybe it's okay, maybe it's not, and all this stuff. But I got tired of singing it that way, so I kind of made it into more of a cross-dressing kind of guy who doesn't know if he likes it or not, but he wakes up with, you know, a bra on and stuff like that. So I wouldn't mind recording both versions just to kind of see what that
just to have it out goes. Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's great because I always encourage people to line dance, and it doesn't always work because a lot of people don't remember how to line dance, but I've had entire dance floors line dancing. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. At a rock show.
If I go way back, my old man used to be a line dance teacher. So
no way.
If I could possibly remember stuff, I know a lot of line dancing because on the weekends when he'd pick us up, we would go, right? And this and that. But
that's awesome. I never got into it. I was like, I'd rather go to a rock show.
No, I hear you 100%, man. My place is in the pit for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you really think about it, a song's a song, and if you can do it in every kind of genre or as many genres as you can, then like I said, it's a hallmark of a good song.
Right.
And it's also if you think about it that way too, because you always have a song idea and this is going to be like this, and you play it, and then you kind of think, okay, well, maybe there's something not right with it. How I'm going to do it, I'm going to just change the style or speed it up or slow it down like dramatically and just see what happens. Even if it doesn't work, it kind of sparks some other ideas. And I know we've done that. We've done, like, the guys, my live band, Eric and Blair and Pat, they're really, really good musicians. They love their jazz and their like old school jazz and stuff. And they can play a lot of it, which is kind of bizarre. I just sit there and watch them when they do that. But we've actually, some of the songs we're like, hey, let's do a jazz version, or and we just do a jazz version of a song. And it's like, hey, that worked. That's bizarre. Like, obviously it's not a jazz version. It's a jazz flavored rock song, but it's
right.
Yeah, it's really neat when you're able to do that with different songs. It's like any art, you know, just throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks, you know?
Yeah.
It's the fun part of making art. No preconceptions.
Like, kind of a band that just did that. We had them on recently, No Skins. They just threw that album together, man. Like, you know what I mean?
And
like,
it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I don't know it.
Yeah, they're a few weeks back or
really
whatever.
New.
Oh, sorry, Amanda. You go ahead.
No. Are you sure?
Yeah, no, go ahead. I've said enough.
Sorry. There's an inside joke over this. Yeah. Perfect. So we had this band on. One of them is in Seattle, and one of them is here in, I believe he's in Mississauga. And over like 2 or 3 days, they threw together a full album, and then TJ found them. And we're like, hey, I just listened to your music. And they were like, we released it yesterday. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but like, he literally found them right off the floor, right? So TJ was like, hey, we want to interview you and whatever. So we set up this interview. We start the interview live, and one of them goes, "Hey, this is great. We've never actually met before."
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That was the first time they ever met.
Wow. Virtual person, but yeah, it was the first time they had ever met before, and we were like, "Oh, okay." And then one of our shows, we had some family together. My cousin is married to one of my friend's band's drummers.
Wow.
Cousins. Yeah, like the drummer, and it was crazy because they're out of Windsor, and my cousins are here in St. Catharines, and my cousin was like, "Oh yeah, their drummer is my husband's cousin," and we were like,
"That's so crazy."
What? Like, I've been working with Al for 3 years or 2 years, whatever, 2 years now. And I was like, what? Seriously? So, like, little fun things like this and, like, the Dirk Gently thing. Yeah. Stuff like this happens on our show all the time. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Would that be Al Yeti Bones himself?
It would be.
That's a great name. That's a great
name. Yeah.
Fantastic name.
Him and Bad Wolves just released a part documentary through Metal Nation. I highly suggest checking it out.
Oh, really?
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. It's a great documentary. Every little piece. I think they're releasing the last piece tonight. It's 5 pieces, and each piece is like 10 to 14 minutes long. I can't remember the name of the guy who directed it. His first name is Six. I can't remember his last name, but
his first name is Six.
Yes, SYX. And I don't have my other phone next to me to Google it and figure out what it is. But I'm following it and sharing it on Sofa City Sounds. And like Al's with a band called Bad Wolves, and Gypsy Chief Goliath as well is another name. Yeah, is another one of their names. Is it Bad Wolves? Well, I feel like I'm getting the name wrong. I hope it
could be because their lead singer
There's a lot of wolf bands out there.
Yeah. But they did that cover song of the Cranberries.
Maybe it's not Bad Wolves.
Bad Wolves.
Now I'll go get my phone and find out. Hang on.
Yeah, let's fact check that live on the air. And while it's just you and I, we have to go back to the movie thing.
Yeah.
So what do you got in the works now? Like, are you on a break right now, or are you allowed to talk about what you're going to be filming next?
Right now, I mean, I think that's the funny thing is, like, with the effects crews and the grips and the lighting crews and all that sort of the production side of it, they are like almost the week before they go to camera hired. So, or, I mean, I'll get a couple, like I'll get a month's notice because I got to break down a script and list out all the effects that I have to put together and then get a crew for it. So I probably won't know of anything. It's so busy in Vancouver right now.
But you could be on 10 different projects at once, right? Like,
it does happen. You commit to one show for a couple of days to do a certain thing, and then somebody else wants you on their show. So, I mean, right now it's like I said, today's my last day of rap. And I'm literally just doing all the paperwork. the fun, interesting part of the shows is, making sure all the bills are paid and everybody gets their timesheets done and all that's, boring stuff. But so right now I'm planning on just chilling out for a couple of weeks. I already got asked to go work on the Flash for a bit, and I said no. I want some time off.
I can't. I'm tired.
I'm tired because they do really long days and late nights and. I don't know if anybody has ever heard, but there's this thing called a Fraturday that a lot of shows do. So you start at 7 a.m. on Monday, and then you progressively get later and later. By Friday night, you're starting at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., and you don't wrap till 7 a.m. on Saturday. So we call them Fraturdays. And it's just, and then Monday you start at 7 a.m. again. It's like jet lag for a day and a half. It's not healthy.
No.
But we
I
all
bet it's
do
a lot of fun sometimes.
Why being in construction?
Yeah,
I've really noticed, especially now with the show and taking it a lot more serious and trying to be a little more professional with it, right? As much as we try, But I had to cut back on my actual job. Like, fuck this, this is my passion right here, and so now I'm 4 and 3. 4 days on work and then 3 days on the Boneyard, right? Like,
if you can do it, do it. Like,
And
I
then,
think, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and hopefully, eventually, I'll just be able to do the boneyard stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll see where it goes, right? But I'll always do it, regardless.
Yeah, it's good to have a day job sometimes, but you know, it's actually. I mean, I'm a welder by trade, and I started playing music when I was a welder, and that was my 9 to 5, and it was great. And then I got into film, and it's you know, you're doing 12-hour days, so I didn't have like the evenings to mess around with music as much. But then I'd have blocks of like a month off, and I could then really concentrate on getting stuff done, you know, doing all the stuff that you neglect for the last couple months. So it's interesting. And luckily for me, it's a really, like, I love the job. It is demanding sometimes, but I know there's always an end. You know, the show will finish here, so I can spend some time or plan something. I can plan a tour or something like that. I'm hoping when we can all tour and things open again, I'm hoping to kind of, you know, do a cross Canada thing if I can with either Danny Echo or the Swimming Hammers.
I was gonna say the Swinging Hammers. That'd be fun.
They really want to play, so. Yeah, they want to go on tour. They're just itching to go because with the Shit Talkers, their band's kind of splintered as well, so they don't get together as much. So this is partly why we're like, well, let's do this here. We're all here in Vancouver. Let's just make some music, and like, yeah, it's gonna be a fun tour.
Well, when you're ready to tour, let us know when you're looking to be in Ontario, and we'll give you either whether it's a place to party and sleep, or come on the show,
or a place to play. We'll figure it out.
Maybe a place to play. You know what I mean? We do have access to a few things, so
that'd be really cool.
That'd be great.
So sorry, I just want to correct myself really quickly from earlier. Since we're talking about music right now, the name of the documentary is Age of Wolves. Age of Wolves. I was wrong earlier. There is 6 chapters, and the guy who wrote it, or the guy who directed it, is Six Langman. And I'm pretty sure everybody that is part of it is out of the Windsor area here in Ontario. Yeah. So sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there because I didn't want to go correcting myself, right? Because especially with Al being a really good friend of mine, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fuck shit up. You know, like,
hey man.
And they worked really hard on that documentary, so you know, like they did. There was a lot put into that.
I love live music documentaries. I mean, I'll watch them about pretty much any music because it's always, the stories are always so interesting, and the drama, and it's just great, especially when you're a musician as well. Like you can relate to it.
You've been there. Whether it's on that scale or not, regardless, you've been in that situation one way or another, you know, whether it was this big or it turned into this big, you know.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because it's funny because no matter how big the bands are, the little drama and the little things they have to deal with are universal with every band or musician. So it's just, they're just getting paid more or getting paid in period.
Exactly. Right. Like,
Hey, I got a question. How do I gotta post this on Facebook here. I totally forgot. Is it just the Boneyard?
You go to Boneyard. Or
I'll send you a link right now, my friend. I touched my phone now, it blew up. Give me 1 second. I will send it over. Here we go.
So okay, well, we're getting close to our hour mark. We will chit chat backstage and whatnot afterwards for a bit if we've got time. But
I'd like to have a quick beer with you after the show for sure, right?
I'm definitely, and I just want to know, like, where can we find all your stuff and what you're up to?
Well, you know, all the Danny Echo music, you can stream on every platform. You know, there's Bandcamp. There's, where else? I mean, YouTube. I have a channel on YouTube where you can see the videos. Just look up Danny Echo. Where else? I mean, there are, unfortunately, like the vinyl I just made, I've got it in a couple stores in Vancouver, but I'm just in the middle of, just another thing I'm doing while I have time off, setting up a store on the Facebook page site.
What?
That's sick, I guess there's a way to do it where you can get, you know, ways to pay through PayPal and stuff like that. So I'm setting that up. You know, it is all me just doing it. So I'll be mailing those things off, and I have T-shirts as well and all that sort of thing. So yeah, just Google Danny Echo. Ask Uncle Google, and he'll tell you everything.
Uncle Google, he says.
Oh, you know what?
That's so
great
funny,
stories.
yeah.
I actually do have a website too. It's DannyEcho.com. I always forget about that because it's kind of odd to have a website these days or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know,
especially when everything's right on one platform.
Yeah.
More work to Amanda, but if you send us the links after the show and stuff, after this, we go back through to re-edit the title. And then that way we get your links in, the most important links to you and stuff like that.
Oh, perfect.
Right?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I love it. I'm just a slave driver, man. Just fucking do this, right? Like,
I'll send links to all those bands and that I'm involved in as well. And I'm sure
yes,
they'll appreciate it. And then,
please do.
You know that I love the Shit Talkers. They're really good friends of mine, and they have some great songs. I mean, I love all the bands. That I'm associated with, but yeah, those guys are awesome.
Shout them out, man.
Definitely.
Give them all shout outs.
We'll get
Shit Talkers.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Give all your local bands. Like, obviously, you're more into Vancouver with the local scene than we are at the moment. What are some of the bands that we should be watching for coming out of Vancouver, man?
Well, actually, the bass player in my band, Eric Sanchez, he has a band called the Top Drawers, and they are super Beatle-y power pop, but they do a really good job. They're shamefully, Beatle influenced. Yeah. But they just released another album, and it's really, really good. So they've come out with it. Yeah, I guess it must be on CD Baby or all the streaming sites too. I guess there's Shit Talkers, there's Walk-Ins, me. I'm drawing a blank here. Who else is there? I know there's always happens. Actually, there's a really good band. So there's a guy out from LA, and he does the International Pop Overthrow Festival. It's all power pop bands, and it's all Beatle stuff. It's not very hardcore, but there's the occasional power punk bands. And there's Siobhan Duval, who's
I've heard that.
Yeah, she's great, and she does these like sort of blondie-ish punky stuff, really, really catchy. There's a band called the Top Boost, who are sort of, that sort of dream pop stuff, but really edgy, and it's really, really clever stuff. Yeah. And you know what? I can't think of Sasha's band, who is, they're out of Chicago. I can see their logo. It looks like a thorny patch of words. But I can't never remember.
Sounds like a death metal band.
yeah, right.
Oh, I forgot what they're called, but I they're pretty big.
Patch of words.
Yeah.
We'll get all the info and stuff.
All I can see is every death metal logo of every death metal band I've ever listened to.
Flash in the head,
right? There's a band called Star Collector came out of the album just recently.
Star Collector. I think they're on my list already to get a hold of, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah. Those guys have been kicking it for a while. And you know what? I forgot to mention a band that you probably really like. They're heavier. I was playing bass. It was myself and two others, this guy named Guy McCurdy, and we had a band called Clementine. And we got, it was about 2 or 3 years that we did it, and it's very grungy, Nirvana-y. We dropped tune and everything, and it's amazing.
May I ask, Clementine? I'm a Wild West fucking fanatic in a sense. Where does that name come from, my friend?
It was actually it was Guy McCurdy. His grandma was named Clementine McCurdy.
Old school, yeah.
And on the back of the poster, we have a picture of her, and it's like, I think it's somewhere up northern Alberta. And she's at it, like it's a log cabin, and she's like, it's this scratchy old cool looking photo of her putting at the door or something. I can't remember what she was doing, but really cool. I'm super proud of that band. It was something really cool, really heavy, 3-piece. We did a Western Canada tour. It was pretty cool. And it was great because I was playing bass.
Oh, check that out. Sure, I'm so excited. So much fun stuff coming up here.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, is there anything else you want to tell the world before we get rid of them and keep you to ourselves for a little while?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, keep making music, keep making art, and just pay attention to what's going on around you. And don't take no for an answer.
Before you cut us off, Amanda, play it loud, play it proud, baby.
Oh, TJ.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night, guys.
Run the echo, baby.